What would be a game changer for a New Year's resolution or some life goals for 2021? I have a great answer inspired by a wonderful saint that you may or may not have heard of. So stick with me, friends. Let's get to it. Hi, I'm founder of Little with Great Love, Lisa Martinez, and every week we do the little recap here on Thursdays. But when we're having these holidays, we just like to give a special message on these days to encourage you guys and bring a little bit of inspiration, hopefully to your hearts and to your minds as we celebrate together and enter into the season. So today is New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's, friends. And I know all of us just want to shove the heck out of 2020 and really usher in a new 2021 year, right? So I prayed and I was asking the Lord to give a little bit of inspiration to share with you about what might bring a little bit of motivation into our hearts and to our minds this year. He led me back to St. Francis de Sales. And if you haven't read his book, Introduction to the Devout Life, I haven't either. But the internet offers so many great resources. But it is on my list, and I would encourage you to pick up this great read because I really believe that the saints are like our big brothers and sisters, right? They are intercessors in heaven. They are our friends, and they are meant to give us models of virtue, to give us help and hope that we too can become saints. So, in reviewing this, the Lord pressed this back on my heart to share with you today. Do not be afraid to strive for holiness, to become saints, because that is what you are created to be. You have only to realize it. This call to saintliness, to holiness, is nothing other than the perfection of charity, to love as God loves. It is our fundamental vocation, inherently to our very being as children created by God in God's image. To be fruitful externally, it must first be sown internally, something God does for us. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, God commands. This is not too mysterious and remote for you. No, it is something very near to you, already in your mouths and in your hearts. You have only to carry it out. I love this inspiration because it brings us back to what it really is about. The scriptures tell us this. St. Paul tells us this, that we could have all these gifts and do all these amazing things, but if we don't have love, then what is it? It's nothing. So he's really calling us, St. Francis de Sales, to be charitable, but really to remember our calling is to become saints. And it's not out of reach. It really means that we're called to love. And this brings us back to, right, our mission, Little with Great Love, that we're called to do little things with great love. So I'd invite you to follow the little way of St. Therese, of St. Teresa, of St. Francis de Sales, St. Paul, and our great economy of saints in heaven, of really asking God this year, how can I love? How can I be love? How can I bring love into situations? And what is required of me? And then ask God for the grace to carry that out. Really, the beauty of what St. Francis de Sales is saying is God does the work in us. We open ourselves up to grace, and then God does it through us. So allow Him to love through you. And that's what draws people back into love. That's what draws people back to the church. That's what draws hearts and gives people hope amidst so much suffering and trials and tribulations. So for 2021, how about the goal be, how can I love better? How can I become a saint? Right where you have me, Lord, right in this place with who you have me with and what you've asked of me each day. And then God, give me the grace to carry that out. I invite you guys to check out our blog, littlewithgreatlove.com. We have some awesome content that we produce every week on the socials. We're on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest. But we also have a really special blog this week about, another great preparation for the beginning of the year. As we prepare for a new year, many people start with a word for the year. And one of our bloggers, Michelle, shared about her words of the year for the past 5 years and what God's been teaching her through that. So I'd I'd invite you to really take some time to prepare your hearts and minds. Take a look at all that we've been sharing online just to help you prepare for the new year. And I'd love to hear from you about what kind of things you'd like to see from us in 2021. So drop a comment, DM us, message us, however, smoke signals, whatever you want to send over to let us know how we can pray for you, how we can support you, and how we can continue this restoration journey. So until next week, thanks for joining us on the restoration journey.